Hey there, YouTube. It's Ryan, and it's time for another edition of Journalism Talk. It's been a while since we've done this, and for those of you who just stumbling upon this video, I'm a music channel, but by day I work at a top 50 television newsroom. And my most recent edition of Journalism Talk led to a young woman reaching out to me for a little bit of career advice, and I want to impart that career advice to all of you young journalists. Stick around. So I didn't think anybody actually watched the first video. It got a couple of hundred views, and I had actually put some money behind it. But a young woman reached out to me to say, I graduated in May 2017, and really, jobs are slim pickings out here. What gives? How can I get my foot in the door in my first journalism job? And this young woman didn't just have aspirations. She wants to work at the New York Times. So what I want to do is talk to you about that first gig, talk to you about managing your aspirations, and then helping guide you in the meantime. So you might be working retail, you might be working as a waiter, a bartender, doing whatever it is besides the career that you aspire to, journalism. Well, I'll tell you the first thing to do is, even if you're a little bit older, get you an internship. It's one of the things that I failed to do as a college student. Actually, I did have an internship, and I really just sort of blew it off, and that was a mistake on my part. I think I'd be a lot further ahead in my career, or at least I would have in my 20s, journalism-wise, if I had done a decent internship. I think I was in an era of TV where it was all about looks, and I didn't realize all of the many jobs that were available to me, and who knew that the digital part of this would come along. Get an internship. Work for free, bartend at night, be a waiter, whatever it is you're going to do, but get you an internship and socialize. I am not an extrovert. I'm very much an introvert by the definition of somebody who needs to refresh themselves alone after socializing. But what I would tell you is socializing is a very important part of the internship experience. And so is just getting to know people in general, those connections that you'll have. I'm connected to a lot of people that I worked with in the 90s and 2000s, and you'll find that will be the case with you. Get you an internship. Number two, manage your aspirations. If it is truly your dream to work at the New York Times, become hyper obsessed with it to the point that people question your sanity. If you want to work at the New York Times or the Washington Post, I want to hear your relatives say, all that girl does is talk about the Washington Post. We might need to commit her. At that point, you'll know you're on the right track, because it's that type of hyper focus that will lead you to the actions that will back up that aspiration. So if you're 18 to 21 years old, just graduating from college, and you really truly want to work at the New York Times, the Washington Post, San Francisco Chronicle, Dallas Morning News, you name it, then plan on a plan that will get you there by the year 2030, all right? That means you got 12 years. 12 years to get there, and everything that you do is a step to get you in that right direction, and you very well may get there sooner. So when I talked to this young woman and I learned that she wanted to work at the New York Times, one of the first things that I noted is that she was ambitious, but number two, her major was journalism. And I will tell you that for most big city papers, in a feature reporting role, meaning that you're a prominent reporter, not that you're writing just features, journalism is probably not the best major for you. I do believe, and by the way, if you work at the New York Times and I'm totally wrong, my experience in working with reporters and newsrooms across the country is that those high-profile newsrooms are looking for more academic pursuits. Economics, history, political science, international relations, Asian history, gender studies, statistics, all, Russian history, maybe you studied Arabic. I don't know what it is, but any one of those disciplines can also become a journalist. So what I would tell you is you don't have to stop down and get a new degree, but I would be working toward another degree or a master's or something that shows that you have higher academic pursuits and interests, because the journalism part may teach you how to write and operate in a newsroom, but the other academic pursuits will teach you to think critically, to work at that higher level. New York Times newsroom's a different newsroom than just a local newsroom. In a local newsroom, you're probably assigned a story. In the New York Times, you are feverishly working for the deep story that nobody has found yet. Not only to just break news, but to do something that is really transformational. So Number one, get you an internship. Number two, reconsider that degree. But number three is be very picky about your first job. If you're working at the New York Times and you decide you want to work at the itty bitty 2,500 circulation little newspaper, that's probably not the best first job for you if you want to work at the New York Times. Be very patient. It's the long game. And realize that your first job will color your second job, will color your third job, and your fourth. And the more local your first job is, the harder or the longer it's going to take you to get to the New York Times. The next thing I want to mention is that if you're finding it hard to get a job right at this point, understand that you can act as a reporter right now. Blogs are free. Most of the technology behind it is free. Your storytelling is your talent. If you're passionate about a particular issue, agriculture, immigration, perhaps you're passionate about a sports team. I like to talk about who I think is one of the most interesting reporters in the entire Southwest, a guy named Royce Young. When the Oklahoma City Thunder came to town, he went to work covering them. Was he associated with the Oklahoman? No. He just started doing it. And he's one of the best out there in the entire country. I don't know if he's with ESPN. I think he's with ESPN now. But that guy, he is where he is because he worked his ass off, and he did it without the niceties of being part of a large organization. He just did it. And I think he started Thunder Digest, or it was a big site. Long story short, that's the type of aspiration and ambition that you can have. Whatever it is, start a site, start reporting, start telling stories, do it now so that when you get that introduction to a Brian Stelter, a Judith Miller, whoever the big reporters at WAPO and LA Times are, they will see your work and treat you as a peer. Get to work now. Even if you have to take a local job to pay the bills and to work on your clips, get better clips, go ahead and continue to do that. So get an internship, reconsider that degree if it's just in journalism, or continue your education, and understand that you can be picky about your first job and even start to get to work now. It really flattered me to no end that this young woman reached out to me so that I could help her, and I tried to actually facilitate some connections that could at least lead to an internship. If I could be of help to you, I would invite you to reach out to me, ryanwelton@gmail.com. I've got some connections around the country. I wouldn't profess to have the best, but I am passionate about this vocation, this avocation, and I am passionate about trying to help people when I can, as people have helped me over the years. So I thank you for watching. I know it's a little diversion from music, but this is what I do every day. So why not talk about it? And if you know somebody who graduated from journalism school recently and is having trouble get their first job, send this to them, and maybe this will help them out. Maybe I can help them out. We'll see. Thank you for sticking around. And by the way, if you love some 80s music, if you love some original music, come watch my videos. Thanks. Bye.